Hello again. Today I'm here with another installment of This Week in Booktube, where I cover all of the read-alongs and readathons and book clubs and Booktuber milestones that I find going on around the world of Booktube. So, without further ado, let's start getting on to this video. First thing I'm going to cover is read-alongs and book clubs. Anna Francesca is running the Time Turner Book Club. For November, she's reading Throne of Glass. The Book Finch is doing his Dark Materials read-along, where the Golden Compass is going to be in December, the Subtle Knife in January, and the Amber Spyglass in February. The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, Books with Chloe, TJ Reads the Stars, Crescent Moon Reads, Common Sense, and Sophisticated Books are all doing this read-along. The live show for the read-along will be on the 1st of December at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Central Time, December 2nd, 3:30 a.m. UK Time, and 1:30 p.m. Australian Time on the 2nd. Reads Readers is doing a Long Come a Read-along about the James Patterson books for the Women's Murder Club. They're going to be read from November through May, roughly 3 books a month. You can find out more on his channel. And I wanted to mention a couple of read-alongs that I mentioned before, that one I actually cut out from this by accident. I want to add it back into this video again, and one that's been getting cut off. Margaret the Word Nerd is continuing her Percy Jackson series of read-alongs. She's doing The Titan's Curse, which is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, on December 1st. The Battle of the Labyrinth on January 5th. And The Last Olympian on February 2nd. Completely Melanie's Potterwatch read-along. November 24th is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. December 22nd is going to be Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. January 19th is going to be Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. February 16th is going to be Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And March 30th is going to be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And then April 27th is going to be Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. To all the books we read before, Read-A-thon, this is going to be a read-a-thon of To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy. KJ Reads Pages is doing this, with also Myona Reads as well. So in the month of November, they are reading the trilogy of the To All the Boys I Loved Before books. Next one is a K-pop book club. So what this is about is K-pop idols have books that they recommend or read. And this is going to be a book club that Emily Boone is running. The first book is going to be Please Look After Mom by Kyung-sook Shin. And I'll leave her link for the video as well as her Goodreads group as well. This will basically be through December or January. The next read-along is the Infernal Devices read-along. So this is going to be the 3 books in the Infernal Devices series that is going to take place from November 5th to the 25th. It's Jane Lindsay is running this along with Chandler Ansley and Novel Inc. Again, this is taking place from the 5th to the 25th. So every week you'll be reading one of the books from the Infernal Devices series. Next read-along is a Harry Potter read-along that is starting in January, that Reading with Ryan is doing. So in January, he's going to be reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and Harry Potter and Chambers of Secrets. In February, it's Prisoner of Azkaban. In March, it's Goblet of Fire. In April, Order of the Phoenix. In May, Half-Blood Prince. And in June, Deathly Hallows. Molly Shelley, she is doing a 5th Wave read-along. She's going to be reading the 5th Wave from November 1st to November 30th. Then the second book, The Infinite Sea, from December 1st to December 31st. And then The Last Star from January 1st to January 31st. Tomb Infinity and Sarcasm and Sci-Fi have a Galactic Grimoire book club where they are reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and the graphic novel Bitch Planet Volume 1. Twilight-a-thon, where these 4 different booktubers are going to read through the Twilight books. So it's going to be Grace Marie, Laurie Dawson, Where in the World is Leah James, and Keeping Tabs are all going to be running this read-along for all of the Twilight books. Beck's Book and Punk Rock Girl PA are doing a Train Your Dragon read-along, and they will read another book every month. The Witchlands read-along, which covers the Truth Witch, Wind Witch, Sight Witch series of books. JLW Reads is doing this. Truth Witch will be going on from October 21st to November 24th. The read-along for Wind Witch will be November 25th to December 29th. And then Sight Witch will be December 30th to February 2nd. Musings of a Cat is doing what she's calling the Forensic Mysteries read-along. She's doing a read-along of this series by Elaine Ferguson, and she's going to be covering The Angel of Death in November, The Circle of Blood in December, and The Dying Breath in January. And the way she described these books actually made it sound really interesting to me. Lizzie Faye Loves Books. She's doing the Cherry Cola Book Club, which is a 6-book series written by Ashton Lee. The read-along schedule is The Wedding Circle in November, A Cherry Cola Christmas in December, Queen of the Cookbooks in January, and Book Club Babies in February. Next one is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone read-along announcement, which is all 3 books in that trilogy. There are a bunch of hosts. Bookish Drama, Happy Booktuber, Dragon Queen's Lair, Grace Murray, Where in the World is Leah Jane, Reader Bee, and Reading with Ryan are all hosting this. It's going to be running from October through December. Now I want to talk about the ReadAthons. The first ReadAthon I'm going to talk about is the big November ReadAthon called Fall into Fantasy. This is being hosted by Penguin Teen that has a lot of big booktubers in it. It has She Might Be Monica, Problems of a Book Nerd, Haley in Bookland, Naya Reads and Smiles, and Emma Books are all hosting this ReadAthon. It is running from November 18th to the 25th. And the Fall into Fantasy challenges are read a new fantasy, read a sequel, read a diverse fantasy, read a fantasy with multiple POVs, read an LGBTQ fantasy, read a book that's been on your TBR for too long, read a new series, and read a book from a Booktube recommendation. And also, all of those hosts are having their own buddy read of particular books as well. So definitely check out the Penguin Teen website and check out these host videos and channels. They'll talk about the ReadAthon as well. Sounds really interesting. Next one is Zariah Rose is doing a Femme Fatale ReadAthon for the month of November. And the ReadAthon is about reading as many books containing an awesome female of your choice as you can. But there are also a ton of other challenges. There are 3 different video challenges. There are a bunch of different photo Instagram challenges as well that are way too many for me to mention. So if you're interested in that video, please check it out down in the links and you can find more information about it. It is called the Femme Fatale ReadAthon. K-Pop-a-thon. So this is basically a ReadAthon based upon a particular K-pop group. And they have different challenges. And this runs monthly. This is a November month for K-Pop-a-thon. A Court of Books and Love does this along with Books and Beyond. The challenges is based on the band Red Velvet. And the first one is Happiness. Read a book that makes you happy. Red Flavor. Read a book with a red cover. Read a book in a genre you haven't read in a while. Choose your bias, Irene. Read a book you've been intimidated by but think you'll love with a pink cover. Sogi. Read a book with art in it or with a yellow cover. Wendy. Read a book written by a Canadian author or with a blue cover. Joy. Read a book with a picturesque cover or a green cover. Yuri. read a novella or book with a purple cover. And Rev Love, read a book you've been dreaming about reading. I probably have butchered some of those names, but that is the K-Pop-a-thon if you're interested, going on through the month of November. Next ReadAthon I'm going to talk about is the BFF ReadAthon. That goes from December 1st to December 31st. The Book Empress is running this, and this has a twist that you will not be picking the books for this ReadAthon. You will have someone else pick the books for the ReadAthon. So all of these challenges are actually not for you. They are for the person who you are getting to pick your TBR for. So it's either a friend or Twitter or however you want to do it to actually get somebody else to pick your books. But the challenges are: read a book with a favorite color on the cover, read a book that you think the person will never read, read a book with your favorite mythological creature, judge a book by its cover and pick a favorite cover off the person's shelf, pick a first book in a series, pick a book featuring an animal, pick a book that starts with the first letter of your first name, pick a book in a series that the person hasn't finished, pick a book that you want the person to read because you want to know if they could recommend it to you, and pick a book that you think they will love. The thing I'm going to talk about is Book Olive's Nonfiction November ReadAthon. It's a very popular ReadAthon. It's been going on for a while. She basically says that you only need to read one nonfiction book for the month of November and you'll be part of the ReadAthon. But if you want some challenges, she has some vague words associated where you could kind of match with nonfiction. Challenges are 2-word pairings. So it's past time or pastime. Next one is self or shelf. Third one is wander or wonder. And the fourth one is micro or macro. And again, that's going on for the whole month of November. Next ReadAthon I'm going to talk about is Readorama, 11th round of Readorama, the Weekend Warrior Edition, which is going on from November 16th to November 18th. A bunch of people are hosting: Gwendolyn Kessinger, Brunette Bibliophile, April Sarah, Pucks and Paperbacks. And the challenges are to read 3 books, do a TBR jar challenge. So you pick 10 books or prompts, and then you choose at random. And the third challenge is to read a book with a fall cover. Paperback Junkie is also doing a readathon that is calling a read-along, but it's a Star Trek read-along for the month of November, where you basically have to read just one Star Trek book, any Star Trek book. Next readathon I'm going to talk about is Read-A-Thin. A Court of Books and Love is doing that with Jessie Marie 493, a very bookish girl as well. The challenges are: read a book that's been on your TBR for over a year, read a book that was gifted to you or that you got in a subscription box, read a book with a fall colored cover, read a book in a non-traditional format, an ebook, audiobook, graphic novel, manga, etc. Read a book entirely in a cozy spot, and read a group book, Dress Code for Small Towns by Courtney Stevens. Now this Read-A-Thin is supposed to be to actually thin out your TBR pile of books. So these are supposed to be books that you actually already own and that you don't actually buy for the Read-A-Thon, which is a nice concept that I really enjoy. Next Read-A-Thon is another nonfiction Read-A-Thon that's running on in the month of November. They're calling it NFN 2018. So it doesn't get confused with the nonfiction November that's Book Olive is doing. This one is being hosted by Kylie A, Triumphal Reads, Alex Black, and Reader B. And the goal is to get people to read more nonfiction. Just like the other nonfiction readathon, if you read at least one nonfiction book, you're successful in reading this nonfiction readathon. But they do have a bunch of challenges. Their goal for this is for you to read at least 4 books, though, if you could, for the month of November. And another goal is to not DNF any books that you read for nonfiction November. So these are all of the challenges. Read a book with a diagram, chart, or graph in it. Read a book with a map in it. Read a book about nature. Read a memoir or biography. Read a STEM book. Read a book about a different culture from your own or about a country you haven't been to. Read a book about a war or conflict other than World War II. Read a book with poetry. Read a book to help you develop a talent or skill. Read a collection of essays. read a book written by a journalist, read a book with no pictures, read a book with more pictures than text, read a book about something that happened at least 100 years ago, read a book that gets you thinking deep thoughts, and read a book to do with the mind. Borrow-a-thon, round 5. That will be going on from November 4th to November 11th. There are a bunch of hosts. I will link to It's a Reading Things announcement video, and you can see all the different hosts that she has in her description, along with all of the challenges as well. Thanks-a-thon, Zach Loves Books, Vanessa Lee Reyes, Amber the Niffler, and Nikki Culver are all running this readathon. It runs from November 10th to November 15th. There are video challenges. First one would be a book-inspired snack. Make a book pie is the second one on the 12th. On the 13th is recreate book covers using Thanksgiving fall items. And on the 14th, a bookish family dinner, which is explained in the videos. Then the reading challenges for the actual readathon is read a book with shadows on the cover, read a book suggested by someone you are thankful for, read a book with a stormy spine, read a children's middle grade book where the main character doesn't get along with their family, and the 5th challenge is actually to read 5 books of any books that you want to read. Just read 5 books in total. And the next readathon I'm going to talk about is the A to Z readathon, which has been done before, but this is a new one now that's going to take place from November 1st to November 30th. It's basically, you know, read books from A to Z. There is normal mode, which is pick either author name or book title, then read books to make sure you've covered every letter of the alphabet. Example, The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter would net you 16 of 26 letters, and you just basically try to fit all of the 26 letters. Then there's hard mode, which is pick an author's last name or title, which is read 1 book for every letter, with X being wild. And it sounds like an interesting readathon, so if you're interested in trying it out, I'll give you the link down in the description. Now I want to talk about Booktuber milestones. And I just want to say up front that I tweeted out that I couldn't actually find any Booktuber milestones for this video. I was about to make this video, and I realized, oh, I can't find any Booktuber milestones. So I tweeted out on my Twitter, you know, does anybody have any milestones they want to talk about? And from not having any Booktuber milestones, now I have 8. So I want to really thank the people who responded to my Twitter. And if I didn't get to your channel on this go-round, I'll definitely get onto the next go-round. But thanks again. And again, if you find any kind of read-along or readathon or anything that's going on in Booktube that you want to let me know about, please tweet me at Paul Reads Tweets, and I will definitely try to put it into my next video. So let me get to all of the Booktuber milestones that I have. Harriet Rosie just crossed 3,000 subscribers. Lucy Reads is 1,000 subscribers. Lindsay Puckett is 500 subscribers. Court the Reader is 300 subs. The Red Queen of Books is 100 subs. Sarcasm and Sci-Fi hit 300 subs. Key Reads hit 200 subs. And Satina Loves to Read hit 600 subs. So those are all of the read-alongs and readathons and Booktuber milestones that I'm covering this week. Again, if you really like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.